Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, know your nation, know yourself. That's interchangeable. Right, today, this is sort of like an Astro-Tarot Quickie. Yeah, Astro-Tarot Quickie, I'm going to focus on two people for this one, for this Wednesday offering. I'm going to focus on Joe Biden and his recent speech, which seems to have gone down very, very well. And I'm also going to look at the heckler, Marjorie Taylor Green, and her new position. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting tarot on them, but I'm also going to give you a brief overview of their charts as well, because we are soon going to have to start talking about the new eclipse season. Now, the first solar eclipse of the year is going to happen on or around, where is it? Is it March 20th? Oh, it's just gone out of my mind. Let 1 minute. Un momento. I think it's actually April. I think it's April 20th. I'm just putting this date in. Let's put 20th of April 2023 and April, and let's kind of just do this. Sorry, I just suddenly kind of went blank for Yes, so on or around the 20th of April, because we can see the moon is going to be at 6 degrees 21 minutes of sidereal Aries, which is Ashwini Nakshatra, with Rahu and the moon together. And the moon is around about 15 degrees 24 minutes. But I mean, the moon moves very quickly in a day. So at that point, it's just that arbitrary time that I've actually chosen there. If I were to cycle backwards and forwards, I could find that exact point. But the sun is at 6 degrees 21 minutes with Rahu, with the moon. And that is going to mean a solar eclipse, because it's going to be a new moon. Now, this is happening on the 20th of April, This is a big deal for everyone, but for anyone that has got planets or things in Aries. Joe Biden is on the 20th of April. He's going to have the Sun, Rahu, Moon, Mercury, and Uranus all in his 6th house on top of his moon, which deals with health and healing and overcoming obstacles. So obviously, he's done very well in his speech. It was great to see him impassioned and empathetic. And you guys would remember me saying, actually in a few videos back last year, I was saying that Biden was going to try and be more bombastic and more dynamic in his speech. And I think a lot of it was coming from the heart. I just saw something with CNN and they were doing a little fact check and they were saying, well, maybe what he said wasn't quite, and maybe what you said wasn't quite, blah, blah, blah. And I think it's always good to try and, look at things from a different perspective. But from what I understand here with recent polling, that his speech had a 72% positive rating. So that is excellent. Excellent for Biden, particularly with the old choppy, you-know-whaty that has been happening recently with documents and, and stuff like that around. So let's hope he can kind of bounce back from that, because at the end of the day, America does need these policies. And it was nice to hear him kind of call out certain egregious things. I think obviously the way many of the GOP behaved with the booing and, Marjorie Taylor Green kind of calling him a liar and all this kind of stuff. It's like, oh, really? Come on. You really need to kind of look at your own house. But I think he handled it very well. So I just want to reiterate. So just so you can see here, I'll turn my camera around. Sorry, I don't have my usual equipment because, of course, I am abroad. Here is Joe Biden's chart. He's a Scorpio rising. Remember? So here we have Scorpio rising. He's got Sun, Venus in his 1st house, and we count round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first eclipse of the year is happening here in sidereal Aries, right on top of Biden's moon. The moon represents our comfort zone. It represents our instincts, our habits. It also represents family. Yes, family. I told you they're going to be going after his son, but there could be more interesting stuff that comes out. And then the next set of eclipses will be happening in sidereal Libra and even a little bit into Virgo. So you see here for Biden, this is actually going to be a significant year where he's having his 6, 12, axis activated. So Mercury is communication. Mars, of course, is passion, war. This is all happening in his 12th house, which can deal also with hidden enemies. And the 6th house can deal with more obvious enemies, health and stuff like that. So, he's going to have to pay attention to those things, particularly when the eclipses happen. Because, of course, there's going to be a lot of energy. What I want to show you again, forgive me for turning the camera around again, but sometimes that's just how it has to be. If we look here with the transits, I've put in the time frame of the 20th of April. And we can see here, if you look at that, you see that huge stellium here? Sun will be exalted, Rahu, Moon, Mercury, Uranus, and then here you can see Jupiter is poised to come in. Jupiter's going to come in on around about the 22nd of April. So what we need to understand, folks, is that we're going to be seeing a big shift. This is why I said the accountability thing, the indictments, all of that kind of stuff has to happen before that big, let's say before the eclipse, or on or around the eclipse. Remember, the energies happen a month before and a month after and extend round until the next eclipse. But let's just say the spring is very crucial. What we would tangibly call spring, once we're around the 20th of April and stuff like that, spring would have sprung in the northern hemisphere. The daffodils would be out, etc. If we're lucky and spring comes a bit earlier, we could be looking at March. But the important thing is, the reason why I keep emphasizing this is because that is a big stellium of planets in Aries. Aries is a sign of action, moving forward, new things. Ashwini deals with speed, Ashwini Nakshatra literally deals with speed and horses, health and healing. But let's not forget as well that Aries is also associated with what? War, conflict. Could there be something that happens with the Ukraine war that I hope would bring it to an end? But could we have something that emerges and erupts elsewhere? That is a lot of energy to have in around that time. Biden will be having it in his 6th house, which, like I said, is with health and healing and overcoming obstacles. So he's going to be what? Challenged, challenged by the GOP. You saw the heckling and this, that, and the other. You see the thing with the debt ceiling. You see how they got very sensitive about that. Just as I predicted. Do you remember last year? I said the second they get the gavel, they are going to play to do sabotage and create fear and chaos around money, finances, things like the debt ceiling, etc. And Biden just called them out. He just called them out because he knows that's their only tactic. We also know they're only keeping Santos because, the votes are just so skinny and even emaciated even. And even Nancy Pelosi, I saw, said in interview today, she said, look, if the GOP had a 20 vote majority, Santos would be gone. We all know why he's there. So it's nakedly obvious now to a lot of people what's going on. So let's pull some cards, though, for Biden. And what I'm going to be asking here, so we saw his speech was very well received, but will it last? Because remember that those the eclipses will be happening in Aries and Libra again, and actually might even switch over a little bit into Virgo. I will discuss that nearer the time. So positive feedback, as we know, a week is a long time in politics. These eclipses coming up are going to represent a major shift. There could be something very, very significant that happens on Earth that may make the last, 18 months or so seem like a sideshow. And this is why I'm saying all the indictments, things with Trump, etc., Duck LaRange and all of his cohorts, really these indictments need to come down, because I know people don't necessarily want to hear it, but I sense that the aperture for justice in certain regards is closing. Will Trump have to face some kind of justice? Yes, of course he will. But remember, I've always been saying October 2023 is really when some of the big wheels begin to explode off. Hopefully it will be sooner before that point. But when it comes to these indictments, they have to happen soon. So thumbs up for Biden. Bit of a bounce back, coming back after a torrid few weeks. Does this mean the end of his struggles? in regards to the GOP and stuff like that? Of course not, because he's having this huge stellium happen in his 6th house. But it could also give him a tremendous amount of energy to overcome and defeat his enemies as well. So there's going to be a combination of things. We're going to see a lot going on, a lot of talk about his family. Of course, the GOP are going to try and do everything with the laptop. We're going to have a lot of this backwards and forwards and argy-bargy, as Lena would say, which anyone can expect when they're going to have a big stellium and an eclipse fall in their 6th house, which deals with health. He's going to have to look after his health, maintain himself, rest, etc., stuff like that. And his hidden enemies are going to be working very hard to try and defeat him, yeah, because the eclipses will also be falling in his 12th house. But let's just see, let's see what the cards have to say about his speech, and will it help him, and will it help swing independence? So let's see what his speech will have on the independence. We know, of course, the Democrats will enjoy a lot of what he said, and a lot of what he said was relevant. I'm glad he just, he just went for it. He's going to get criticized whatever he does from the opposition. But I like that he spoke with passion and he went there on some things. I need to go back and have another look at it again. Actually, it's worth another look. But for what I kind of liked his tone. There was a bit of oomph. Wouldn't you agree? There was just, I felt like he was coming with a bit of gravitas. Yeah, that's what we want. We need, and he was speaking in clear language. Like we said, it needs to be clear language. Sing up, blow your trumpet for your successes, call out the opposition. So good for you, Joe. Good for you, Joe. All right, now I'm going to pull a few cards here. Let me close my eyes. Okay, 5 cards for Joe, and then I might drag out a few clarifiers as well. All right, what's going on? Independence, Joe and independence, what kind of effect did his speech have on them? Because we understand that these are the real important ones to swing. The proper cra-cra Republicans, whatever, they're going with the whole Marjorie Taylor Green thing, aren't they? Let's see here. Interessante, everyone. Interessante. Okay, if we look here. This is actually Biden. Now, look, you might go, oh, but it's the Queen of Wands. We don't have to always so strictly adhere to the gender of a card. It's better to look at its energy. Look at this. Queen of Wands is, we could say this was Pelosi. Pelosi was actually speaking up for Biden. But we're talking about independence. So what this would suggest is female independence, I think, will quite really like what female independence in particular will quite like what Biden said, because look, this is the ones are about passion, but they're also about entrepreneurship as well. It's also a dynamic energy. So this would really kind of describe dynamic, independent voting females would have liked what he had to say in particular. I also like what he had to say about Medicare and stuff like that, and keeping Social Security, etc. He got a big standing ovation for that, and he even played on that a little bit, didn't he? And he says, look, we all seem to agree, yeah? Let's not delete this thing. We all seem to agree. Let's kind of stick with where it was. He was quite clever. But I think he's had some cut through with independence, but female independence in particular, I think really would have liked what he had to say. Now, if we look here in this so-called obstacle position, look, we've got the Ace of Pentacles. Now, of course, the Ace of Pentacles talks a lot about wealth, finance, big money, stuff like that, funding. I think this is the deficit. Yeah, this is the deficit. Because look, it's come in the obstacle position. Pentacles can deal with big money. Normally, big money, is an advantage. But for it to come in this position, this suggests that, look, there are issues. Independence may still have issues in regards to raising the debt ceiling and stuff like that. We do also need to understand, look, we know why the debt ceiling is where it is, but it's not always completely as simplistic and as obvious as everything seems. So it does show going forward, this suggests to me that the debt ceiling could be an issue. We know the GOP are going to be throwing all sorts of spanners in the works. Then we get the Hanged Man. So it could also show as well, there might be quite a few independents that might be wait and see. I am going to wait and see. This is also a card of change perspective, yeah? Maybe it could be the footsie that the GOP are prepared to play with the debt ceiling is actually giving independent voters, and maybe even one or two Republicans, a different perspective here. Yeah, a different perspective, because it's not just going to be America that would be affected by this if America defaults. It will be the whole world. Yeah, imagine if America defaults on its debt. Big problem. However, there seems to be a keenness to move forward in a dynamic way. So when I'm looking at this, it looks like independents may not be happy with what the Republicans are doing in regards to the debt ceiling. It's given them a different perspective. There's also an element of let's wait and see, but there's also a tremendous keenness to move forward in dynamic ways. And I think some of the things Biden said really appealed to these types of people, yeah? Because independents by their very nature are independent-minded. Of course, I'm not saying anyone who votes strictly down party lines is not, but there is that element of where they are prepared to play both sides. So look, they want to see action. Yeah, they're waiting to see action, and they want to see hard work. They want to see the government at work, hammer and tongs, doing stuff for the American people. And I think when Biden was speaking in those terms, that really cut through. They want to see some action, some grit, some grunt. I mean, don't we all? But the independents in particular. And I think that kind of really got them quite excited. A little bit of hot wet, I think, with the independents. Let's have a look. Let's pull two clarifiers and see if that can also carry through to 2024. And Biden is going to have to really keep his wits about him, though, with that stellium that I showed you that was going to happen in his 6th house. You know, that's no joke. Yeah, that's quite a lot to deal with. But if he handles that energy well, he can use it to defeat his enemies. So yeah, we have to see how it comes. But there's definitely this stuff with Biden's family and stuff is not over yet. It's right on his moon. The moon represents the mind, but also the family, also real estate. Could there be more raids and this, that, and the other? We just have to see. But that's what the moon represents. It represents our home, our comforts, our emotions, our family. Let's get two clarifiers on 2024. Oh, shyster, that card spun. I'm not sure. Let's just see which way it came up. 4 of Swords. Oh, the Tower. So look at this. We've got the 4 of Swords here, which can mean taking a break, being wounded in battle, laying back and reconsidering, yeah, taking a back seat after a fight. So we know there's a fight coming up probably on multiple fronts for Biden, because obviously his enemies are going to be after him. And then look, we've got the Tower here. So we're going to have to see how these eclipses pan out. I think if Biden can get through this eclipse season, and I mean through this eclipse season, which is, you know, is going to, let's see, it's going to take us obviously through this year. He has to kind of get through this year. If he can get through this year intact, then maybe he will benefit from the fruits of his labor. Yeah. But there are still some surprises, yeah, for Biden. This could be surprises for him or things we may find that are surprising. We'll have to see. Remember, the GOP are going to stop at absolutely nothing. But if he uses that eclipse energy well, it could help him out. But these are dynamic times, yeah? A lot of people are going to be wanting to trip him up, obviously. So, so look after your health, Biden. Get sleep. Make sure you're eating well and sleeping well and all of that stuff. And you keep on with your agenda, because 6th house is also as well overcoming obstacles. He'll have more energy to overcome his obstacles, and hopefully he will defeat his enemies, particularly those in foreign lands, which are the 12th house. And we've seen recently things with China and all of that kind of stuff. So you see how the astrology plays out. All right, let's have a little chat, a little chinwag about Marjorie Taylor Green. Oh my goodness. Heaven's sake. You know, the situation is what it is what it is. I'm not even going to insult her, because there's no point. All she has to do is open her mouth, and that's insult enough on her as a character. But, you know, there she is. I said she'll be elevated. I said she will be elevated. She's going to be having a much bigger stance in the GOP. And I said that actually a few months ago when I was reading the cards. I said she's going to be, and at that time it didn't even seem that probable, but she's ahead of several things now. So what do I put here? Marjorie Taylor Green heckles. What is the energy around her for 2024? So let's peep a little bit into the future. We're in 2023, but let's look at 2024. What's going on now? That stellium that I showed you is actually going to be happening in Marjorie Taylor Green's 10th house. Yeah, 10th house, which for her falls under the influence of Aries. Yeah, influence of Aries. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get her chart up now just so you can see what's going on, and let's see how that tallies with the cards. So I'm just going to click onto, 1 minute. There we are. So anyone who has a consultation with me, you get a chart like this. So I'm going to click onto file. And here I've got Marjorie Taylor Green. There we are. This is her chart. So look, she's Cancer rising, like many people in the public eye. Many Cancerians got involved in politics. So here you are. You can see here, we've got 25 degrees, 45 minutes. And that should put her in the nakshatra of Aslesha. Very interesting. Nakshatra can be mystical, but it can also deal with poison and mental health issues if a person is in the shadow. Anyway, so if we count round from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Voila. So this eclipse happening here, let's just put in the 20th of April. Let's just punch it in on the transit. Let's just do this. There we are. Do the 20th of April, just so you guys can see how this stuff works. 2023, calculate. So here, remember as I was showing you guys before, there's that stellium, but for all Cancer ascendants, this is going to be happening in the 10th house. But for her, she has a planet there, and look, she's also got Uranus in Libra. This is going to be the eclipse season. Let's turn the camera around. For Marjorie Taylor Green, this could be a very unpredictable elements could be involved in regards to her career. She is obviously, she's risen to prominence, and there could be some real controversy around how much influence she has and some of the things that she does. Because that energy is dynamic. The sun is going to be exalted, Rahu will be there, moon, Mercury and Uranus. Now remember, Mercury also deals with communications of all kind. Uranus also deals with tech of all kind as well. They both deal with tech, innovation, stuff like that. But especially Uranus is the future. But remember, Uranus is very unpredictable, a bit zany, a bit wacky. Yeah? So, I mean, does one really have to be a psychic or an astrologer to predict that she's probably going to say some controversial things? No, of course not. But she might say or do certain things that could be very bombastic indeed. She might come out with some stuff which it might be like, I don't care if the economy crashes. We need to do this to have a new clean slate, or we need to really push forward certain agendas. But I have a feeling as well, there's a lot that she could also be learning too from her roles on these committees, particularly on Homeland Security, which seems absolutely absurd, doesn't it? I think she may learn some stuff that could actually shock even her, and she may have to pipe it down a bit. Let's see what happens, but how that energy will play out for her is very interesting. It's also happening as well on her Venus, and now we've got to remember is Venus is about, trades, goods, services, relationships, exchanges of all kinds. Also a planet of business, food, luxuries, etc. She's also a planet of prophecy and rejuvenation, and resuscitation. It can also deal with nursing as well. Nursing, and is sometimes known as the waitress of the zodiac. But Venus also deals with marriage, so we understand that she's going through some kind of divorce or something like that. There could potentially be some revelations that may come out about that. Remember what eclipses do. They reveal things that we didn't know, and sometimes those things can be shocking. They take things out and bring things in. There's like these escalators, as you know, I describe them. Eclipses are like that. They take energy out and they bring something in. So we'll see what happens, but there could be things to do with the spouse, or maybe there might be something to do with kind of money or revelations or secrets of some kind coming out, or it could be how the divorce settlement works. Anyway, we'll have to see. Not that I'm too fussed, but either way, there's going to be something dynamic and impactful that the eclipses will bring out, particularly in regards to Marjorie Taylor Greene's career. That's the astrology part. Now let's look and see what the cards have to say. It's like Joe Biden's turned up already. Oh, look at this. Very interesting. We're going to have to pull two clarifiers. All right, if we look here, 2024. Looks like Biden might be going for it, yeah? As we know, King of Cups, he's very empathic. He really does care. He's not perfect, and no one should expect their leaders to be perfect. And I don't believe that YouTubers should be critiqued either for giving fair critique to people that, that are not perfect. Sometimes it's a little bit too tribal, and I've had to often hold back a lot of things because whatever. But let's just leave it there. This looks like Biden here, even though we're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. Here, Biden's come up, of course, he's president. Now, if we look here, justice is turned up in the obstacle position for Marjorie Taylor Greene. So could it be there may be something that Biden does that has a legal aspect that maybe scuppers her in some way? Remember as well, the eclipses are falling here. I think she's still going to keep going for it. Yeah, going for him. We saw how, look how that works. Biden was giving his speech. Marjorie Taylor Greene went on the attack. Yeah, this card so symbolizes her so much. The Knight of Swords rushing forward. But look, the Justice has turned up in the obstacle position. So there may be something. Could it be maybe Biden does some legal move, veto, whatever, that can maybe scuppers some of her plans? Because she might be coming out with this cra in regards to legality. Could it be the debt ceiling? Or maybe it's just Marjorie Taylor Greene wanting to take Biden to court. Maybe she wants to indict Biden. Look at that. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Rushing forward with aggression in some kind of legal matter in regards to Biden. If I read the cards backwards, it looks like she's trying to do that. Here she's got the Seven of Pentacles. So this is when a person is contemplating their harvest. Sometimes it can be a spoiled harvest, but either way, I think she's reflecting. She's either reflecting now or will have to reflect in the future about the seeds that she's sown, maybe in regards to Biden or certain things. If we look here, she's got the outcome. The outcome is the Queen of Cups. Now, as Lena would say, look, we've got male and female, king and queen of the same suit. There are a lot of cards. There's 78 cards in tarot. So that's actually quite unusual for it to come out. This could also represent her. I mean, it could also represent Biden's wife, actually. So let's hope that she's going to be all right. But if we focus again on Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is also about using one's intuition, creativity. It's also about secrets. I think she's going to learn some things at the Department of Homeland Security that could be quite interesting for her. Let's pull two clarifiers. She might have to reflect. She already overdoes it anyway, but she may even do stuff that even by her standards is really over the top, and she may actually shock a lot of people, and she may have to reflect. Yeah, she may have to reflect on what she's saying. But let's pull two clarifiers. This is also about her 2024. Looks like her career is going to change anyway. I mean, we could see, could it be worse, could be better, but either way, her approach to her career is going to change because those eclipses and that stellium is going to put a lot of energy. She could have a lot of critique or a lot of focus and is maybe going to have to reassess. She's probably going to have to take her career more seriously. Let's put it that way. She's going to have to take her career more seriously and be a little bit less gung-ho. Let's see. Eight of Pentacles. How interesting. So look, she gets the Eight of Pentacles as well, which is about hard work and being studious. Maybe she might get whipped into line. Maybe there could be certain things that happen with the eclipses and all those planets in her 10th house, which means she's got to put her nose to the grindstone. She's going to have to study, yeah? This is also a card of study, research, being a student. She's going to have to learn her job, yeah? Less of this. Learn your goddamn job, yeah? Page of Cups. And look, this one's actually got a flash of lightning coming down, almost kind of echoing the tower. This can sometimes deal with unpleasant messages and stuff like that. Sometimes I refer to this card as stinky fish. I think she's going to have to work harder. She's going to have to work harder because I think she's going to learn some stuff. She's going to learn some unpleasant realities from the world of intelligence. And she's actually going to have to be a grown-up. There could be something that happens in the world where she's going to have to step up and be a grown-up and kind of stop the BS a bit, because that stellium in her 10th house, 10th house is the highest house, but also that she's got the eclipses falling there. Venus also deals with trade, goods, money, services, and negotiation. Maybe she's going to try and do something gung-ho in regards to the economy, and she kind of gets shot down, or she gets cold water thrown over her, whatever, because maybe what she's going to do is quite dangerous in a way. But either way, she's going to have to learn and graft and work hard. And she may receive some unpleasant messages that maybe kind of make her change her perspective a little bit. Or at least I hope. We have to see. We don't know. Oh, look at what's at the base of the deck. Look at that. Talking about Marjorie Taylor Green, she's going to be up to her shenanigans. We have to see how that pans out. But I hope you guys found that interesting. If you'd like a consultation with me, then of course, feel free to visit my website, which is thearchetypalblueprint.com. All of the information is there. Better to book. I know some people send emails and stuff, but I get so busy. So you really wanted it? Go for it. Book. It's whenever my diary is free, you just put yourself in, and yeah, it'll be really nice to kind of like help you out. Particularly a lot of people are going through a lot of changes in their life right now. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Quite interesting, isn't it, what the cards had to say? Biden has had a very positive impact amongst independents in particular. They're the ones that swing elections. Whether or not it will sustain, we'll have to see. He's going to have to try and overcome his enemies, yeah, and find the energy to battle. Marjorie Taylor Green is having this happening in her 10th house. Yes, she's reached prominence, but there is also as well that challenge of the 10th house of being seen. There's a lot of energy going on there. She may slip up here and there, or she may come up with some stuff that is very, very bombastic, or could even be potentially damaging. So damaging that she may have to humble herself a little bit, contemplate the seeds that she's sown, 7 of Pentacles, and then she got 8 of Pentacles, outcome, working hard, being studious, plus the Page of Cups. So there's a message that comes to her where she might have to just potentially grow up a bit, at least I hope anyway. Let's see what happened, folks. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see everyone for Hoggerly on Saturday. All right, catch you soon. Bye-bye for now.